Hello. Hi, guys.
How we doing?
Hello, everybody in the
What's up?
audience.
What's up?
Good to have you here. So, today with me in our session about what's ahead, the landscape of UX research, I have Joe and Carlos. And if you could, guys, introduce yourselves to our audience, and I would like you to do it in a way that if I would ask one of your teammates what it is that you do, what would they tell us? You can pick a teammate though. Huh?
Oh wow, that's a hard one. That's like saying what would my mom say I do for a living? Which is nobody knows. So I'm Joe Cahill. I've been doing design for 20 years, 24 years at this point. It is insane that it's been that long. And now I'm working with a team to push everybody. If anybody asks what I do on a day-to-day, it is being the annoying voice in the room that's saying, like, don't take no for an answer. Let's keep going. Like, iterate more, think more, like push it more, push the boundaries of what we're doing. Because I'm annoying like that. And the only way we get design moving forward is if we get super aggressive about it. And I'm from New York, so that's kind of like the deal.
That's your thing.
Yeah. Carlos, what about you?
On my side, I've been designing for nearly 18 years. And if a team member would say anything, it could be, I'm always in meetings, but I'm always responsive. So it's like my calendar is popping and always kind of turning or putting down some fires or future fires. So I think it's the kind of the fine mix between the reactive and the kind of future fire that I can foresee and just kind of simmer it down so we just live a happy life.
Yeah.
We could probably do an entire hour talking about too many meetings and time management within just that scope, because that is an art form. Like Carlos knows, like it's hard to balance like answering everybody back while you're still trying to like pay attention in a meeting. Like remote culture has made it kind of easy where I have two screens. I can like look at this and look at that, but it's when you're physically in person with people, it is it's a lot.
Crazy.
So we could, but we won't. So we will talk about the future of research and what's ahead. Because me and Netguru, I'm an innovation consultant. I have no idea what would people say about me. Hopefully something very, very good. And that I have a wonderful sense of humor, for example. But we're all dinosaurs. We've been in the field for many, many years. And we probably all remember 2019. And the reason I mentioned 2019, specifically June, is because I'd like to start with a short exercise. If you would close your eyes and imagine yourself in June 2019, what was the future of research? What was ahead?
Oh, wow. June 2019, the world was all in front of us.
And you didn't know. There was no COVID. There was
nothing.
That's wild. What was there, right?
Yeah. It was, oh God, it was the future of research was being in person and being with people and having more user testing in person. And like, that's what was our gauge, right? It was having these tests in front of people that it was like you can gauge their reaction, you could read their body language so well. The idea that all that is now kind of trying to be put through here is just, for lack of a better term, batshit crazy. Because I'm just like now studying, trying to be insightful while looking at somebody and being like, okay, are they twitching? Are they struggling? Like, are they wincing in their face? Oh, they're frozen. What are we gonna do?
Can we have AI analyze it for us?
Yeah, yeah. That's a beautiful part of the AI integration into research, right? Definitely did not think of that in 2019.
Probably not. Carlos, what were you thinking of in 2019?
I think we were actually building a very strong user research team. And yeah, I think it was, we were very heavy in the qual, kind of bringing people into the room, speaking to them. I think we're so far away from the physicality of things. And I think we turned it around to this whole remote setting, like Joe said. but I think that we learned to coexist with it. I think, just a new blocker, a new opportunity, and either it made us more versatile in research, because you could be potentially in two places at once. You could be doing a user test in Nigeria and one in New York time or whatever. But it also kind of lost that the human side of things. So that's kind of where we were.
yeah, that's a very interesting point, because that's the beauty of it, right? Like our user pool now is exponentially larger. And I can run a user test on certain softwares that'll run while I'm sleeping, and then I wake up and I'm like, holy shit, 30 people responded and did the walkthrough of the prototype, and I have those insights like right away. And it's definitely an area that would, in 2019, I would have never thought would be as easily accessible as it is now.
As a byproduct, because of the whole pandemic and all that, thanks to user testing and all these other tools, it gave people new potential roles and job opportunities to user test more products. So I think that we had more volume of people. And, if you got either laid off or you're just starting out and you wanted to test an app 5 hours a day, I think that from your sofa, I think that was good in that way. So.
Yeah, especially from a business end on cost, like trying to get user testing approved, and say like, hey, so now we have to do casting and we have to find a space to do, and we have to do this. It's more just like, so it's going to be like $80. We'll get 45 people overnight.
Yeah.
You good? And they're just like, yeah, no, that sounds great. All right, perfect.
Yeah, but it's interesting how the things we are excited about in the field of research and UX change. In 2019, it was, hey, I'm going to go to Nigeria to do my test on site. And then in 2022, it was, well, I can finally do it in Nigeria and New York at the same time, and I can do it remotely. And there are so many wonderful online tools that allow me to do it right now. And I have access to so many more users. At the same time, questions came. Was the quality of insights the same? Like you mentioned, we're missing out on something. Did you guys notice? What do you think about the quality of insights we get and how it influences the quality of products that we make?
I can take it from Joe if you want. I can start.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that we had more volume. I don't think that the quality went up, but I think that it's the designer's role and responsibility to dissect and understand those learnings, because like I said before, we have more than ever. Like we have more, like you can track, you can have all these insights, you can sprinkle AI, you can do all of that, summarize. But at the end of the day, it's kind of based on your own opinions and expertise to understand if what is coming in through the funnels, through the tests, through the videos, makes sense, and you grab those insights and repurpose into beautiful working products. So I think that I don't think it got better. We got more of it, and we just got to do a better job of interpreting.
Yeah, 100%. It's that quality versus quantity idea, right? Yeah. Like, granted, I could have 5 really in-depth, deep user testing, user sessions where I'm asking questions and getting more insights. But if I'm trying to validate an experience or validate a flow or validate, hey, we're moving buttons around or we're changing type hierarchy or we're changing content that way, I can get 150 people and get, like you're saying, like it may not all be quality, which is true. But then we also get that, like, that validation that, like, oh, guess what? It did really well with 150 people versus the 5. I think it's like you said, we have to go through the videos. Like I've gone through videos on user testings, and in the first 30 seconds, people didn't understand where to click. And then it was like another 10 minutes of them complaining and they signed off. And luckily with most of these tools, you can just rerun that same test, and it's not a burnt session, and you can hope for the next person to have more success with how it works. And
and you can validate much faster as well, right? Because we don't have to now schedule the test and schedule. I mean, we still do some scheduling of users, but we have so much variety of tools that we can use to validate our ideas, designs, concepts as we go. But now I want to fast forward from 2019, 21 to 24. And, a couple of weeks ago, or over the course of the past several weeks of months, we've had several papers published about those, generative models that have, simulate users. They're trained on real users, on real data. They predict. They actually remember. Their memory is very good as the real people. They predict personality traits. They predict behaviors in a very similar way to how people do it. Do we need people? Can we just use those simulations to that? I mean, I don't know.
I would say we always need people because, and we're going to talk about AI, right? We're going to talk tons about AI. That's what this entire day is about, right? Talking about AI. AI is parity. AI learns and is a clone of what a person is. The one thing AI doesn't do well is be frustrated. And I think that's where our key pain point is when it comes to certain products. I just recently downloaded a new app and for recipes because I love to cook. And I was looking at the app. I look at the app from two lenses, as a UX person and from an actual user person. So it's like, as I'm playing with it, I'm like, man, this is frustrating. Why doesn't it do this? Why does it do it here but not there? And that's something that AI may not be able to replicate because that's my experience using it. And I have all the wealth of who I am as a human being and my background in product and my background with usability as a person in this world, that it's going to get close. It can give us certain instances of hey, best practices, but I think it'll never replicate what comes from inside. I think that's always the human factor that'll always trump it.
Yeah, I agree. I want to build on that, Joe. You can't kind of build on that frustration or the awkwardness or kind of that obvious human emotion. And I currently work for a beautiful company called iwoca, and we provide small business loans. And the thing that you can't predict is you can build perfect flows. You can give and help people, credit assess and give them everything in a minute, and everything's amazing. But when you go further down the line, if they need to kind of repay back a loan and they're in distress, or their a partner died, you can't train the edge cases that are 1, 2, 3, 4 parts away. And I think that's kind of where the human element is. And responding to your question, Agata, do we still need humans? I definitely think you need empathy, and that's kind of human 101.
We have a nice question from the audience that I'd like to ask that kind of builds on that. So can AI tools that are embedded in our work as designers actually help us predict the needs of our users? So, discovery.
I would quickly say no without taking so much thought. I think that it's AI helps you on the present, on the past. It doesn't dictate the future. It will help you understand. I mean, you are always able to connect past dots and all of that, but it doesn't give you a roadmap. It's up to you to decide where you want to take things. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah, I would agree. I think life's unexpected. The world's unexpected. The data models and AI can predict certain aspects of it, based off of where it might pull its research from, but it will never. If I read an AI model in June of 2019, I doubt it would have came back and be like, guess what? Buy masks, get hand sanitizer, because the next 8 months are going to be a ramp up to something wild. It's not going to be, I doubt it will know that much about what's actually going on in this world. I think, who knows? Maybe it'll surprise us.
I think there are scientists who might argue with you here.
I'm sure. Are they feeding the data models? That's the question.
Yeah. Okay. On the other hand, though, generative AI, it's about generating ideas. That's one point that makes me think that maybe it could be. I'm not sure about predicting needs, but imagining possible needs that maybe don't come to our human minds right away.
Okay.
And the second thought I had just lost, so I'm just gonna stop it with that.
Live TV, folks. Live TV.
Articulate today, but yes. So it can, I guess, be helpful in pointing us into ideas worth exploring. Maybe going away from user research, maybe then now into this discovery research that can be desk research and all sorts of research. How do you see the future of that, knowing we have AI today and who knows what's going to happen?
Joe, you want to go first?
Yeah. So me and Carlos have been doing this for a while. I remember a day, and this is the evolution, right? I remember a day where I had to go to bookstores and go to buy magazines that had design inspiration in them, or I would go to the stores and look at, if I was designing for product, I would go look at product now. And I'd go in the store, I'd take pictures and be like mad creepy about it. And like store owners would be like, what are you doing? Why are you taking photos? I'm like, yo, man, these packages are fucking tight. Back then, we didn't have Google. Back then, that was our core way of gathering information. Photoshop. I started off on Photoshop 4. For all of you keeping track, that was 1997. Many people might not have been born then. I get that a lot. Back then, the Photoshop then and the Photoshop now have just increased our level of creativity, giving us time to think more, giving us time to create more, because it's taking a lot of the grunt work off. Gen AI is doing that now in a lot of ways in weird parts of our experience, right? Like if you told me 10 years ago, I would be putting together concept art and websites and applications that have like real-ish data inside or real-ish copy that I cannot lorem ipsum it. I can tell you how big the text boxes are going to be, what the character counts are going to be. It's a different experience. And for me to sell to a client or to a stakeholder, like, hey, this is where you can be, it reads so much more to it. Sometimes they think that like those words are Bible, and I'm like, no, this is just AI. It's just, just a concept. But that's how it helps. Like it's our tool. It's always going to be our tool. Our evolution in design has been picking up new tools, throwing them in our toolbox, and using them when we need them.
Yeah.
So I think it's always going to be something that's gonna help us along the way and make things easier.
I agree. I want to piggyback quickly on that. I think generative AI and anything that comes out of the creative realm is amazing. I think that we're forcing too much. We're starting off with the end tool rather than the outcome. It's like I don't know. I want to cook chicken tonight. How can I use AI? And I think it's more like, what do you want to do, and what are the best tools that will help you get there? We're kind of like, I know that we're designers or developers or PMs, and we're living in kind of this digital world, and like it's obviously AI is behind all of this, but I think we're trying to be over reliant on it, and it's only potentially as good as what you feed it and the questions that you ask yourself. So if you are not asking the right questions and you want to create like this beautiful desktops or pitch to the client, you're only as good or as bad as yourself or the weakest link next to you. So the human error of like, hey, you can't potentially think further or dissect what comes back to you. It's kind of it stops as far as you can go.
Yeah.
100%.
We have an amazing question from the audience. I absolutely love this. So in the UX world today, research UX world, what is this one trend or buzzword that is being brought up constantly that triggers you, that you just don't like, you're fed up with it?
Oh, AI. 100%.
I love it. Me too.
And here's the reason why. Yes, like it's going to be our future. It's going to be our tool. It's going to be something that we're going to use for the future from now. But everybody right now is like, we need to shoehorn it into our application. We need to get AI. That's my favorite. Like, how do we make this AI? And I'm like, that's not a thing. That's not how it works. You need data scientists. Connect to ChatGPT. Yes, but no, that's not how it works. I think 100%. I think that's something that just drives me nuts a lot now. Because it's, it has to be thought through. It has to be a meaningful like journey along the way.
Yeah.
I would say that too, and I would sprinkle two more: Figma and design systems. I mean, I
Yeah.
love Figma. I use Figma every day, but again, it's just an ends to a mean. Like you used Photoshop 4. I started with AutoCAD and like crazy codes, Publisher back in the day, and I think that these are layers of execution above what you have to do. So you could have always done a design system, you could have always done a component, a variable, an auto layout, all these things, but they don't help you move product. They can help you scale product, but if your designs or buttons are inaccessible, if you don't understand what performance looks like, your website and mobile app or CRM or CMS is always going to fail. And you're just going to build hundreds of thousands of UI components and buttons that are going to be crap or not accessible or all of that. And you can, even rename your layers with AI and all of that, but you're still building crappier products faster. Like, doesn't matter if you use Agile, Kanban, whatever the hell you use, you're accelerating your death.
Yeah. 100%. And the term design system, nobody fully understands it still. It makes me laugh.
It's like everything, yeah.
It's like most people I see, they're like, oh, we'll send you our design system, and I'll get a Figma page that is more or less a style guide to a website versus an actually engineered, validated system. God forbid design tokens are being used. I'm never gonna. I hope for that. It's very rare that it happens, but I think that's one of the things, right? It's once people hear the term, they think they want it, and then they build something close to it, and you're just like, oh, well, yeah, no, we're almost there. And Carlos, you hit it on the head too. If you start with something shitty, it's only going to get shittier, right? Like, it's not. You have to take the time to take a step back. Like, I don't know how many times I've had to say, so this isn't accessible. And they're just like, oh, what's accessibility? Like, what's not accessible about it? And I'm like, from a design end, it's color contrast. From a tech end, I looked at the back end, and there is not one ARIA tag or one like metadata written in anything. So
that's true.
Yeah, that's I love that you mentioned accessibility. So important, and so happy to have it in conversations more and more often right now in the tech world. We have a couple of minutes left, and I would like to end on a very positive note. So I would like for you to share with us, what is it that excites you about the future of UX and research? What is it that, if you were to, inject some young spirit, young student who is thinking about their careers with passion for research and UX, how would you do it? What would it be?
Carlos, I'll let you kick this one off.
Don't be quiet.
No. I would say, and I've had this question last week in another talk. I would definitely recommend learning how to pitch, how to sell, because even if you get into research or design or you use AI, the best designs are the ones that actually get built. And if you don't know how to validate or convince your stakeholders or clients, your boss, whoever, or a developer, it doesn't matter what you do. I think that we're over reliant on our core skill, which you're supposed to be good at. If you want to be a product designer, you got to be good at design. If you want to be a researcher, you got to be good at asking questions, being curious, all of that. But if at the end of the day, when you have all the script, all the insights, and you don't you're not able to communicate to designers, to developers, to PMs, you're always stuck again at that middle ground. And I think that learning how to pitch, how to storytell, how to sell in general is going to cross over, because you're always in a negotiation. You're always speaking, selling yourself, speaking to users, representing your company. And I think that whatever you do, the art, if you master the art and science of converting, selling, pitching, whatever you want to call it, presenting, you're going to be good for life.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we're doing this for this long, right? It's always exciting. It's always changing. It's up to you to stay up with it, right?
Yes.
You know, it's like I have friends. I am 44 years old. I'm on the old side. I have friends who are 44 years old that don't know how to use their iPhone. Meanwhile, I'm like coding for it. So it's always keeping up with what you need to do next. Follow the trends, like understand them. Even if you don't use them, it's good to know. You know, will you use it? Maybe, but the love for this is deep, and it never gets boring. That's for sure, because people are unexpected.
And isn't it super exciting that we actually get to do this in actually whatever domain there is out there? Aviation,
wherever you want to do.
Sure, I'm going to do
Yeah.
it. Like car, yeah. Healthcare,
Yeah.
yeah.
You have a great idea, create it.
Exactly. That's fascinating.
And keep all your friends at an arm's length when they go, I have a great idea for an app. Can you help? Like, oh, all right, tell me about it.
Validate
it.
We have 1 more minute, and I'm giving you an open mic to share one last thing with our wonderful audience here.
We're 200% going to get cut off with 1 minute.
I'll go really quickly. I think that the world for designers and researchers in general is kind of all melting and kind of becoming this hybrid role of like, you're a little bit of a PM, a developer, a marketing. And I think that if you're learning how to communicate and do a little bit of the other person's job, or learn how to speak their like language and skills, we're all kind of jumping on everyone's role a bit. And I think that it's a good thing in a way and a bad thing in many ways. So we're all kind of full stacking. So I wouldn't be so hyper focused unless your company or your clients require it. Be a bit more open, like Joe said, like adaptable, and learn and be part of the tools and trends and everything that's happening. So I wouldn't be hyperly focused on one thing. Just open it up.
Yeah, I always tell people, you don't know how to rebuild a car, but you know how to drive one, right? Like if I'm working with an engineer, I'm not going to say like, hey, make this div tag this, make this that. I'm going to be like, but I understand how the modules go together to the bigger components and how the page is built. So it's empathy, baby. That's how it works.
Empathy, baby. That's a very nice last statement for our talk. Thank you guys very, very much. It's been super exciting to have you here, and let's keep on listening to our next conversation.
Thank you for inviting.
Woo!